American Nightmare has arrived. The son of a dream looking to realize his destiny in WWE. Multiple tag team and intercontinental championship reigns during his first run here in WWE. But now that the prodigal son has returned, Cody Rhodes has reached main event status.
Konnichiwa, minasan. I'm Great Oka Unite Empire. 今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
I hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending, Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How are you doing on this fine Saturday evening, sir?
Jeff, I feel like a winner. And not just because I am the reigning, defending, Broken Predictions champion, but because I get to live in a timeline where 20 years ago, CM Punk and Samoa Joe started a war, a trilogy of matches. And 20 years later, we got to see the fourth one on national television. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, that's pretty fucking cool.
It was very, very cool. That match, you know, I was one of the ones that's like, you know, CM Punk just came back from his injury. Let's, I don't know about this 20 minutes with Samoa Joe in the ring here, but dude, they absolutely killed it. Punk looked great. Joe looked great. The crowd was absolutely into that match. I mean, this was a great episode of Collision and an absolutely fantastic main event. And once again, we have a CM Punk bookending the show, huh?
I mean, it's his show, and you know,
It's his show, baby. Let's go.
So I'm gonna say it not just because CM Punk is on the show, and we're gonna kind of talk about the night as we go through it. But like, I'm sorry, Collision is the best wrestling show on television, including all of AEW's offer. We are.
Yeah, I have to agree with you 100%.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks in, and I understand the ratings aren't great. I know the DVR numbers are actually doing pretty good from what I recall. I think I saw something today that the DVR, or yesterday, the DVR numbers make the number look better than people are saying it is. But like, this is the third week where I'm like looking at what they're doing. Oh, I'm sorry, fourth week. This is week 4.
Yeah, I was at week 3, I believe.
Yeah. Week 4. So we're a month in, and I'm just sitting here loving this show from, you know, beginning to end. Not just the CM Punk stuff. I know I have a bias, but I'm not even talking, like, you could take CM Punk and his segments out, and I'm like just judging the parts that aren't him. And it's just like, it's a really damn good wrestling show with great matches that get time. There's lead-ins and follow-ups to the matches, so the story is progressing. Like there's even like little things like apart from Kevin Kelly, the presentation of the entire show from the second you get that cold open to the intro to the stage to everything, again minus Kevin Kelly, it's just a home run. And so, we're week 4 in, and I understand the ratings are going to be what they're going to be. It's a Saturday night, so it's probably not going to be it's not going to do Dynamite numbers. I don't think it will regularly. But
No.
in my opinion, for me, it's the A show.
Yeah, I was trying not to get into that whole A show, B show controversy there, because on Twitter, a lot of people are trying to say, like, oh, we don't want to pick sides. But, I mean, we've chosen side. We're colliders, huh? I mean, Collision is definitely one of the best. It is the best wrestling show on television of any organization, any show. It's the number one to me.
And look, like, I generally still like Dynamite. These weirdos who are just like, fuck Dynamite, I'm just watching Collision, or
Yeah.
vice versa. Like, that's weird.
Definitely not what we're saying. We're not saying Dynamite's
No.
bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just that Collision is so good. It is now the best show on television.
In my opinion, it is. I mean, like, because we look back on Dynamite, and I would say the last month or so, I've definitely had a few things with Dynamite where I'm just kind of left questioning to the point where Ed is proud of me. So, I mean,
it is what it is.
yeah.
But dude, the opening of Collision, I absolutely love how we get a quick, like, 1 or 2 sentence promo from basically all of the major parties involved in the show tonight. We got Ricky Starks first, Powerhouse Hobbs came up next, Samoa Joe was next, and then CM Punk, and everybody cut a really quick promo before they even ran the whole, opener for the show. I absolutely loved that. It made it feel like a live show. It made it feel like an actual, like, big time fight night, almost like, we were competing with the UFC tonight, I believe. The UFC was on tonight in a pay-per-view, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it kind of made it feel like that type of a show, actually.
Yeah, I think that another big thing is, and it's something I've always appreciated about AEW in general, and, like, I think Collision kind of takes it, like, and tunes it up a notch, where I love AEW because everything feels like it matters. Like, when I watched WWE, like, things didn't matter. Why did this happen? Oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. In AEW, these things matter, and I just feel like Collision really dials that up, where everything has a purpose leading into the show. It builds the show up. It keeps everything feeling big fight feel. Very important. Like you said, the cold open with the promos. Coogie and I were talking in the Discord a little bit about, like, the Punk and Joe shots before the match. The intro, like, being different every single week to highlight the matches that you're about to watch. Like, all of these things are done in service of making the matches, which the matches are also getting a good amount of time. Like, it's kind of like these matches are going like 20-25 minutes. Like, how long was that FTR match? Like, that definitely went like, what, 3 commercial breaks, right?
Dude, it had to be 20-25 minutes. That was a very long match.
What I'm saying. And so, like, I feel like in wrestling, they want it, like, I feel like a lot of times you try to do like that 3 matches an hour kind of model. But I think Collision tonight, I mean, I want to count real quick. 1, how many matches? That's a squash. We'll count it. 2, 3. Yeah, there were 4 matches or 5 matches on this card. I think that doing less matches and giving them more time really makes the show better. Like, instead of like having to fit 6 matches on the card and maybe not all of them go the distance, like, I thought this was great.
Yeah, it let everything breathe. I really agree with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say what's up to everybody in chat. We got the Coog is here, Coach Nick is here, Ed is here, Michael Duke. What's up, everybody? Michael says he's chatting with us on Roku TV. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. And Ed says he is proud of you, Rome, that you're looking through a critical thought lens instead of a, oh my God, AEW rules lens.
I've always been fair. Just because AEW does in fact rule, that doesn't, like, that doesn't mean that I don't look at things and, like, ask questions or be critical. Like, that's not factual.
All right, well, welcome everybody. And again, if you're in chat with us here, remember this is the only fully interactive wrestling podcast on YouTube. If you got a question, throw it in chat. If you have an opinion on the segment, go ahead and throw it into the chat, and we'll address your opinion as well, man. It's it's fun times here. So let's go ahead and get started here. After that opener, we had basically CM Punk finished his promo with kind of seeming like he was about to walk to the ring. And sure enough, during the Saturday Night is All Right for Fighting song, CM Punk made his way down basically next to the Owen Cup, and he cut a freaking awesome promo here. He didn't even have to get into the ring for this promo. I really like how he stayed out of the ring. He essentially just said this is Heart Country, and it's been 18 years since he's been in the ring with Samoa Joe, and I thought this was an awesome way to start the show.
Yeah, it was great. Well, number one, it was a pro Punk crowd, so that was cool. Punk talking about his history with Joe. Punk goes to put over Owen Hart. He says, "I'm not superstitious. I'm not touching this trophy because I want it. I'm touching this trophy because I'm gonna earn it." Punk working as a baby face. I love to see it. Others may not, but I do. He's gaslighting the fuck out of people that don't like him.
I loved it.
No, it was great. This is a great start to the show, so it was good.
Absolutely. And especially if you're like a Dynamite watcher and you're like, all right, I'm going to tune into Collision, see what's going on here, possibly being a Punk hater. It's the first thing that you got to see. And, I think it was great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Right up next, we had a video package for CM Punk kind of cutting some more promos on each other with Samoa Joe for their match later on. This was great. And then we had Will Hobbs versus Starks, man. I freaking loved this opening match. Basically the whole David versus Goliath thing. I really enjoy those type of matches where you got not necessarily a small guy, but smaller compared to Powerhouse Hobbs, obviously. And I enjoyed this a lot. I thought this was a great match. What about you?
Yeah, again, like I said a few minutes ago, I think that just giving these matches more time and letting them breathe, and maybe not necessarily having to jam 6 matches on a weekly television card when you have 5 hours of television, next week 6 hours of television. I think that this match was really good. It's the kind of match that I think you'll see on Collision. It was really cool, and I know Ed doesn't like tournaments, but I would argue that these tournaments are all producing great wrestling matches. So it's not as big of a deal as I think some, such as Ed, would make it out to be. This was a really good match. Really enjoyed it. I appreciated Hobbs for his Hart family inspired gear.
Really nice gear. Loved it.
Thought it was really cool. But overall, I definitely enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I tell you, I wasn't expecting QT Marshall to be the reason that Hobbs didn't get the win here. There was an obvious spot where Hobbs hit the power slam, and he had the pin, but QT Marshall was up on the apron, and Aubrey got up in QT's face. So Powerhouse was yelling at QT like, "Get down off the apron, get off the apron." And he winds up getting pushed into QT Marshall. Ricky hits a huge spear, looked absolutely great, and he picks up the 1, 2, 3. I wasn't expecting this finish, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be, Powerhouse Hobbs getting the win with the help of QTV here. What'd you think of this?
I mean, I did think Ricky was going to win. I think that the finish kind of gives Hobbs. I think that's the direction you're going to see Hobbs going in, and I understand some people are going to groan because some people don't like QT. I get it. But at the end of the day, QT is a solid person to feud with, and
He's a great heel.
He's a great heel. Like, you could say you don't
He's
like
great.
him, that's fine. But he is a fundamental guy where he does the fundamentals so well that I think he's worth having on the roster and worth having on TV. And people could disagree with that. That's fine. It is what it is. But no, I think that that's kind of where we're going to be going with this. I think Hobbs kind of was acting a little bit like a babyface at the end of
Yep.
the match. The way he didn't attack Harley, he didn't want to go through Harley to get to QT. Which leads me to believe that QT and Johnny TV are going to turn on Hobbs, and that'll kind of be the next thing that Hobbs.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. It never occurred to me until tonight. And even though QT and Harley aren't like together, they really like for whatever reason tonight reminded me of the Miz and Maurice. You know what I mean? Like in that aspect of just I don't know, the roles that they were playing, I guess. I don't know, it was weird.
Now, see, like that's actually a great way to put it because the thing about the Miz, right, is that like the Miz is solid at what he does. But the problem is that he is a guy that has been put up on a pedestal, something higher than he should ever achieve. For example, right? Like if QT Marshall was out here, how many Intercontinental titles does Miz have? Like 8? Like if you told me that QT Marshall was going to end up being like an 8-time international champion,
Yeah.
I might have an issue with that. But you know what I mean? Like you do need guys like that on TV every single week. And Coach in the chat said it, exactly the same. Couldn't have said any better. It's like he's a solid worker, not a superstar, excellent role player. You need guys like QT. And I completely agree with that. And so, I think Hobbs, I think the feud will probably shift more towards Hobbs and Morrison than it will QT. But I mean, all the same, I think it's a good time.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. Ricky Starks picks up the win here, so he goes on to the finals of the Cup, correct? He'll face whoever wins the CM Punk versus Samoa Joe match?
Correct.
Yeah, Miz has been around for like 20 years. I mean, I think so as QT Marshall, but not in any like meaningful way on TV or anything, obviously.
I mean, he's been on TV the entire time that AEW's been around. How many titles have he won in those 4 years? 0.
All right, next up we had a Miro promo, and dude, I can't even tell you how much I loved this promo from Miro. So he essentially said he made a deal with the devil, and in my opinion, I'm thinking he was referencing WWE or Vince. I think it's Vince. And then he says he got into a fight with his god, which I think we kind of established a few weeks ago. He might be referencing Tony Khan as his god. And I was like, dude, this promo from Miro was fantastic. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. There was a line at the end that I was pondering over the commercial break that followed. Miro says, "I must be what my god is not. I sense a big battle is coming. It's the one we've all been waiting for."
And which one is that?
I don't know. I mean, because earlier in the promo, he says that he can't fall to the temptation of gold and his double-jointed wife.
His double-jointed hot wife. I started cracking up so hard, dude.
But no, so I mean, like, I don't know. The promo doesn't seem like he's chasing a title, but I don't know. I don't know what the match is. He says the big battle, the one we've all been waiting for.
Has he ever wrestled Kenny?
No, but I mean, Kenny's kind of busy right now.
I know. It's just weird. Like the battle we've all been waiting for, and I'm just like, who on earth could that be? Like, I do like it actually. It's kind of giving us some. You know what? We who do you think it is? Let's go ahead and start making some predictions here.
Yeah, I don't know, because like I mean, Malachi Black comes to mind.
Yeah.
Andrade comes to mind as well.
Okay.
But I mean, outside of that,
Yeah, I don't
big
know.
one,
It's wild.
one we've been waiting for. I don't know.
Orange Cassidy. I mean, I think we've seen that before. I'm not positive.
Yeah, I think he did wrestle.
Speaking of, here's the amazing autographed Orange Cassidy figure I picked up in Canada.
Nice. Ed says, and I actually agree with that. What we've been waiting for with Miro, other than him just to accept what creative gives him. I do agree with that. As much as I enjoy Miro, bro just needs to be like, look, man, it's not a one-man show. You just got to do your creative. Otherwise, they're going to make you sit at home. Darby, no, because Darby and Miro fought. Didn't Darby beat Miro for the TNT title? No, that was Sammy.
Yeah.
But no, Miro beat Darby to win the title, if I recall correctly.
I don't know. This is a real wild cliffhanger here that I have no idea. And when he says something like the one we've all been waiting for, like my mind immediately went to Kenny Omega, but you said it perfectly. Like he's a little busy right now.
Yeah, Kenny's busy. The Elite have so many storylines that they could start working with that, like, the last thing that they need to do is kind of introduce another storyline for someone in the Elite to be doing. So I don't know. I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I have no idea. But if you guys have any ideas, throw it in chat right now, please. And if you can, please hit that like button for us. It helps us with that algorithm. Try to get the video out to a few more people here. Next up, we had Willow Nightingale backstage with Tony Schiavone explaining how she is injured from her match with Julia over in New Japan. She did lose her title over there to Julia, and she is not cleared to compete. And Athena shows up and cuts a really nice promo on Willow here. Basically saying that Willow just doesn't want to lose to Athena again, and she's not ready, for the old Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And Willow basically challenges her to the Ring of Honor Championship again. So it looks like if Willow can defeat her on, Rampage next week, or this coming Rampage, Athena has agreed to give her another title shot at the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. I'm not so sure how that's going to go. So, like, if Willow wins, she moves on in this tournament, and then she has another title shot at the Ring of Honor. Do you think they're going to do that title shot at the Supercard? You think, or have they already announced something for that?
So I have a few thoughts that you've kind of brought up, for me real quick. So number one, no, they have not announced any kind of match for Athena's title. Death Before Dishonor is in 2 weeks, and there is one match announced for the pay-per-view, which that's not okay. Look, again, gotta keep it real. Tony Khan, dude, you have a pay-per-view, and I understand it's Ring of Honor, it's not AEW, but it's a pay-per-view that you're selling for $40. You're selling tickets for this thing, and you have one match announced that was announced this week, and the pay-per-view's in 2 weeks.
And isn't that the world title match? That's the only match we know of so far.
Yeah, and that's Claudio versus Mark Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not okay, first and foremost.
I'm sorry, is it Death Before Dishonor or Supercard?
No, it's Death Before Dishonor.
Oh, my bad. Thanks, Coach.
So that's number one. Number two, I do think that this match is setting up for a match at the pay-per-view of Athena versus Willow. I do think Willow's going to beat Athena in the tournament. And I also wonder, I don't know. It's weird because my thought was so they're saying that Willow is not good to go tonight on Saturday, but she'll be fine by Wednesday. And I thought that was a little weird. Like, okay. I mean, she's there. She did the promo. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying there. I do agree a little bit. So, we'll see.
And so Coach is saying that people are bashing TK, glorified dark with belts. He's referring to Ring of Honor. I don't think Ring of Honor... I think Ring of Honor is okay to be that, and it definitely seems like they're telling some stories over there. But whatever, you can't have a pay-per-view with only one match announced within 2 weeks. And Ed says only half a card for Double or Nothing 2 weeks out last May.
Yeah.
I would argue at least you had half a card.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a lot of the card taking shape 2 weeks out. That doesn't bother me. But it's 2 weeks out and you have one match in that. One. That's not okay.
All right, well, next up, we had a nice little video package for the Blood and Guts match coming up between, it's kind of the Blackpool I guess it's the Don Callis family, right? Not the Blackpool Combat Club. It's the Don Callis family versus the Elite. And each team has 4 members, but there's going to be a 5th member that's a mystery partner for each side. Is that the way it's working?
I mean, yeah, it's 5-on-5, and
Yeah.
both teams have one more partner to announce.
So who do you think the extra member is going to be for the elite side?
I mean, I would be shocked if it's not Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, me too. 100%. And what about the Don Callis family side?
I mean, it could be a swerve, but it seems like it's going to be Jericho.
Okay, yeah. When they
Could
asked
be
him to join, I didn't even put that together. Wow.
well, why I'm here. It
It
could be a
is.
swerve. It could be, but I mean, it seems like it's lining up for it to be Jericho. So
Punk pitched himself as the fifth. What?
I
I was
know I
thinking
saw that.
I was
I don't,
thinking Kenta.
bro. I saw that and I was like, that would be so great. That would be
That
so
would be
good.
wild, dude.
Maybe hey, look, dude, what if? But okay, I'm not saying this is happening. I'm not doing that. But what if the BCC announced CM Punk as like the fifth member, and it's like the elite are just like, and that kicks off the elite storyline with Punk.
Dude, if
That would
that
be
were the case,
insane.
my God, the fucking I don't know. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, so I mean, look, it's gonna we'll see what happens, but this week coming up kicks off a really big like 2 weeks for AEW, so we'll see.
No, coach, he's talking about Punk being on the Don Callis family side against the elite. Oh,
Oh
that'd
yeah,
be
yeah, no,
crazy.
that would be dope as well though. Look, I would not be complaining about
Yeah,
that.
like if he joined them and that would put an end to all the talk or of whether they've buried the hatchet or whatever.
No, but you know what would be a really great dynamic? Something that I think would be, oh, God, I'm like visualizing this in my head. What if like Punk and Don Callis team up? And it's
Oh,
like,
dude.
and Punk does that gaslighting thing where it's like, where he's like, he's doing what he's doing right now. And then Don Callis is there just taking the heat. And so like everyone's gonna you're either, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that would be a really cool pairing.
Dude, I keep running through my mind like who could be the leader of the Dark Order, and I went through like CM Punk, Don Callis, and I was like, I just kept going through all kinds of people trying to figure out like, just because I love the Dark Order, trying to get them more into the story than they even are. But I think it would be cool if they just pushed Evil Uno as the new leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get Dark Order out of this
Yeah.
storyline.
Oh, they make sense in the story right now. They're part of this whole year-long story with Hangman and stuff, so it makes sense. Just don't involve them too much. You know what I mean?
Well, they are like okay. Look, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, but I don't think the Dark Order, clean finish or not, had any right beating the Elite on Rampage.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's. I'm not trying to hate on the Dark Order, but like the Dark Order have not done a goddamn thing to make me believe that they could defeat the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page. Like, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything from the Dark Order to make me
Well,
believe that would be
it
the
took
case.
interference from Takeshita and stuff. It wasn't just the Dark Order winning. But
Yeah.
I love it. No, absolutely not. I was just running people through my head trying to find somebody that's already on the roster, and nobody fit. Like there was no one that fit. Like, yeah, it didn't work. But all right, let's move on here to we actually had this felt like a replacement for the match between Willow and Athena here. It was Julia Hart versus a local talent, Bambi Hall, who I actually thought did very, very well here. This wasn't really a squash, but I thought this was a great match. Julia Hart winds up winning this via submission after a few minutes here. And they said here, they actually mentioned this. Julia Hart now has 24 straight wins in AEW. So if you're going to say it, and we used to care about, win streaks, and we used to care about, what do you call it? What's the win-loss columns, whatever you call all that,
Mm-hmm.
the stats. She's in line for a title shot of some sort somewhere. You know what I mean? 24
Right.
wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Julia's been really good, and I mean she's been consistent. The Dark or not, not the Dark Order, the House of Black on
Yeah.
AEW has just been excellent. Just and having them on Collision. Malachi Black said in an interview this past week that he requested specifically to just be on Collision, and he asked that. He said in the interview that he asked that specifically to make the House of Black and Collision must see. It's like if we were just showing up anywhere on any of these shows, you would just be like, well, whatever. I'll catch them when I catch them. But it's like, no, if you want to see House of Black, you need to turn on Collision. And I think that that's a great call by them or by him, and it really works. It really works for the House of.
It was a great explanation too for some of the people who don't really agree with like the kind of sort of soft brand split we got going on. It was a great explanation of why it is kind of a good thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you want to see the House of Black, I think we've made it a little clear here. It's time to tune into Collision, and you're not going to be disappointed. Julia Hart came out with Brody King. Love him. He's amazing. He always looks freaking awesome. And just Julia Hart, like the guys in chat are saying, you know, Coach and Coog, her transformation from that cheerleader that she was a long time ago till now is just absolutely incredible. In my opinion, one of the greatest wrestling transformations, like almost of all time. You know what I mean? One of the best character transformations ever.
Yeah, absolutely, completely. Jeff, I sent you I DM'd you something that I just saw on Twitter. And if you could put it on screen, that would be great.
Let's see. Sure.
Thanks.
Let's hope the screen works. Let's go here. There we go. There's some CM Punk with some hearts. Is that it?
No. Check the other. I think I sent it to the other. That wasn't what. That was the last thing I sent you previously. Hold on, I'll send it to the other Discord account.
Yeah.
Send it to the wrong one. I mean, that one's fine too, but there you go. There you go.
All right, here we go. Open that in the browser. Oh, it's a little bigger there. All right. Just found out about AEW Collision. How could Tony Khan do this to Dynamite?
There you are. There you have it.
It's a weird meme.
Yeah, I don't know. Twitter.
I've been seeing it lately, but yeah, I'm like, that's a weird one.
It's Twitter, man. What do you want? But anyway.
Yeah, you know, it is, yeah. All right, so awesome match from Julia and Bambi. I would not mind if we saw more of that Bambi girl, give her a character, and you know, she was actually really good in the ring there. I liked her. Next up after was a Malachi Black promo, you know, talking about Andrade's mask. And dude, this promo from Malachi about their masks and why they're important to each other was just incredible. I absolutely love Malachi. Still to this day, it boggles my mind how the WWE let this dude go and then wanted to be spiteful and sign his wife like before they let him, like, you know what I mean? Like, remember all that happened? I'm just probably out of order of what I said there, but like, I can't believe they let him go. It's insane.
Oh man, so yeah, we got back-to-back great promos from both Malachi Black and Andrade. Malachi says that, you know, they both wear masks for different reasons. Malachi says that he has to hide his face to show who he truly is. I love that line.
Yeah.
He says, you don't understand that taking off the mask especially gives especially you more strength. I need to teach you to be great. And the heart of lies you've created for yourself. So it seems like Malachi wants Andrade to join the House of Black. Andrade says, I'm not a coward like you. My mask is everything. It's about my family, my culture, my country, all Latin people. I'm a businessman. When I have the mask on, it's business. When I have my mask off, it's time to fight.
Yeah, Ed said it pretty good. When he was in NXT, he was one of the most over acts in the company. And then Coach said, which one, Malachi or Andrade? I say yes. Both of them were incredibly over when they were in NXT. Andrade had Zelina Vega at the time, and that combination was just absolutely phenomenal. Malachi was incredible in NXT, especially when he became the champ. It boggles my mind that either of them were let go. It's absolutely crazy. I don't get it.
Well,
Ed, yes, Ed. High five.
but no, these promos were both really well done. Just excellent promo work. And again, I love Collision and just the flow of it, like just the way everything works and the roster that they're working with. Andrade had said on Twitter today. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, he tweeted. Let's see if I can find it real quick to read what he said. Give me a second.
Oh, you're good.
There it is. Andrade said, I respect all the talent of all AEW brands. Remember, if they respect me, they will always receive my respect because they all work hard to earn a place. I am AEW Collision and I love the locker room. We have only 3 weeks on television and we have achieved in 3 weeks what other brands have in 4 or less years. I love wrestling like all of you, and the more competition we have, all this is better for the company. But I would love that people who were in charge of preparing the first AEW Collision show in Chicago, those people are in charge of doing all the shows week after week. We have a lot of top talent you will never imagine. Andrade the Idol versus Samoa Joe, CM Punk, FTR, Miro, Scorpion, the Bullet, Ricky Starks, Hobbs, and more talent that I could forget. Thunder Rosa's comeback will be great. Imagine her beating up Julia Hart and getting my mask back. And maybe having our championship that CM Punk, our own championship that CM Punk never lost. And so, Jeff, I actually kind of wanted to bring this to your attention. So this is the second week in a row where an AEW Collision guy has kind of come out and just been like, man, just freaking love this locker room that we're in right now. You know what I mean? Because last week, obviously, it was Dax after the coach, not our coach, but Jonathan Coachman, was being a clown, talking about stuff that even Dave Meltzer was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Shut up. But, you know, Dax came out and said, like, hey, like, we're a family and we're trying something. This is an experiment. We're going to do the best we can within. He's like, I freaking love this locker room here on Saturday night. And Andrade kind of, you know, the next week just really kind of, again, saying, like, I love this locker room. I love the guys here. You know, he loves working with Punk. He loves working with all these guys that he lists. Obviously, this is probably translated from Spanish. He's obviously saying Scorpio Sky, not Scorpion. When he says the Bullets, he's talking about Bullet Club. Or maybe he's talking about guns. I don't know. Or maybe, well, the guns are part of it.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just, it's a really interesting thing that we're seeing with Collision is that locker room of these regulars on Collision, they're forming a bond, which is also going to help the product.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really cool.
All right, Ed says if they do brand belts, I am not going to be happy. You know, Ed, I don't know why, but I'm actually enjoying the way that they're doing it right now. It's obvious that they're not going to make it like a permanent thing. You know, it's Punk is saying this is the belt that I never lost. So it would kind of be him like parading around with a belt that's not exactly the real one. And it would just cause to have an eventual match with the real champion, whoever that may be at the time, which honestly could still be MJF way down the line. And, you know, I think that would just be an easy way for them to make that match happen and make it obvious it's going to happen over a, you know, long period of time.
So my take is that I agree with both of you in the sense that I do not want them to do brand exclusive titles.
Yeah.
But I do want them, I would be happy to see them kind of do that storyline with, because I mean, I pitched it on the Discord a few weeks back, and I think that eventually maybe we still see that happen, especially with this Collision locker room being as tight as they are. Maybe we do get this AEW Civil War where it's like CM Punk versus the Elite, and you have to pick a side, and all these like really weird little things that always leak out. You know, everything kind of comes together. Maybe some of it was a work and some of it wasn't, but we make it all into a work. And
yeah,
I
definitely
could see it being
don't
like CM Punk is like the guy with that belt, and like that side is like that's our champion.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I definitely don't want there to be like the AEW Collision World Champion and the
Yeah, no, I don't,
AEW. No, I'll be like, get out of here with that.
and I really don't think Tony Khan would do that. I just
No,
don't think that
he's got to know that AEW fans would hate that. Like, I think he really knows. He's got to. But let's move on here to Jay White and Juice Robinson, the Bullet Club Gold versus FTR, the top guys. And man, this is where this crowd absolutely lit on fire here tonight. They were chanting for FTR from the moment they came out. And this was an incredible, like 25-minute tag match. I'm not sure how long it was, but it felt long. The crowd was super into this the entire time. I had a blast watching this match. What about you?
Yeah, I thought this was an excellent match. It's great to see FTR being one of the best tag teams in the company. I mean,
Oh,
that's something that, you know, I agree with. I think that they're one of the best teams in the company. Uh,
yeah.
I've joked that I don't like them. It's not that I don't like them. I just think sometimes Dax gets a little annoying on Twitter. I also don't like him being a little buddy with Jim Cornette sometimes. It's a little
Yeah.
cringy. But I mean, they are one of the best tag teams doing it, and this was an absolutely excellent match. Like we were talking about, it definitely felt like it went like 30 minutes, but not in a bad way. Um, so I'm starting to see the picture of what the plan is, but originally I wrote in my notes that like if you were gonna have this match be as good as it was, you should have just made it for the title. But there's a plan, and I could see I see where the plan is coming. I envision it. Excuse me. I envision the plan, Jeff, and I see
Yeah.
the future, and I get it.
And I agree with Ed there in chat. Any other night, this could have been a main event by a mile. Like, that was a main event caliber match for sure. Like, easily a main event caliber match right there. And I got to be honest, I did not expect it out of Juice and Jay. Like, I know Juice and Jay are both very good. Don't get me wrong. You know, I like the Bullet Club Gold, but I didn't expect this caliber of a match to just appear out of nowhere tonight on Collision, you know?
From Jay White, you didn't expect this from Jay White?
Like I said, I love Jay White. I love Juice Robinson, but just this caliber, I was not expecting it tonight. It blew me away.
I think
Blew me away.
It's kind of crazy, but okay. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Sure. No, I mean, the dude's a multiple-time IWGP former world champion, but
Absolutely. Yes, he is.
yeah.
There were some awesome spots in this match. That big suplex off the top rope into a frog splash by FTR, that was really cool. Only picked up a 2.999 on Jay White there. Massive "this is awesome" chants were shooting out everywhere. Dax hit that springboard powerbomb off the top rope. Only got a 2 count on that one as well. And, you know, at this point, Jay White was freaking foaming at the mouth. I don't know if you guys caught that one, but me and the wife looked at each other like, oh man, he's foaming out of the mouth. And Juice Robinson comes in, and I'm not sure what his finisher is called. I don't know what it was, but Juice hits his finisher on Cash, and he picks up the 1, 2, 3 and gets the win for the Bullet Club Gold after a long, really, really good match. And this was very unexpected for me. I did not actually expect them to win.
Yeah, I was surprised when they made it an eliminator. I was kind of getting the vibe that it's like, I don't think they're going to be done after this match. So when like originally I thought it was for the title. Like going into tonight when I was like getting excited for the card throughout the day, I was like, oh, we got a tag title match tonight, and then the match started and I was like, oh, it's not for the title. I don't know how I missed that. I was like, okay, I guess it's just an eliminator.
Yeah, it was a if you win, you get a shot type thing. But I thought it was a great match. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets 5 stars. There was nothing about this match that I didn't like, and it was, you could even say this was a pay-per-view caliber match. You know what I mean? I mean, it was.
Oh,
it
for
was
sure.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely.
All right. Next up, we had a Christian Cage promo on Sean Spears here. I actually really, really like Sean Spears. He was over as hell in Canada, obviously, his home country. I think this is going to be a great match and a great little feud here with Christian Cage and Shawn Spears.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good video package, kind of showing that Shawn Spears is willing to go back to the chairman. He said that he said when my son was born, I promised him that I would never do that ever again. And there was a line that Christian says that just for some reason just made me really just found so funny because he's like, "Oh, so you're a father."
Yeah.
And like I know that like Christian was saying that because he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna hurt you so your son can't meet you or whatever." But like I read it as like the meme where it's like the meme that we're always joking around like there's another wrestler with a dead dad in AEW, and Christian's like, let me at him. But no, I thought this was a really good video package. I would say this is one of the best in recent memory. There was never really a feud that I was just kind of like don't really care at all about. And then after a short video package, I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, I really want to see this. And this video package kind of did that for me, which like usually it's like I'm already usually either into it or it doesn't really change how I feel about like these video packages. And like this one was really good, I thought. I thought that there was a lot of good little stuff in here that kind of got me excited for the match.
So I got a little bit of a hot take here, and I want to see what you think about it. So,
Boy, here we go.
Christian Cage has already brought legitimacy back to the TNT Championship, and he doesn't even hold it.
That's fair. I thought this was going to be a hot take. It's not a hot.
No, it's not. All right. I thought it might have been because,
I mean, it's really soon to say that. Like, I don't know if you should be saying that now, but I mean, in a few weeks.
Yeah,
you could
it
say
just
that.
feels like it. You know what I mean? It feels like an important title because of what he's doing.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah, I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's too soon to say it, but I don't think it's a hot take.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. All right. So next up, we had it was like a backstage promo of FTR and Bullet Club Gold. And apparently they agree to a 2 out of 3 falls match for next week for the championship. Is that, did I catch that right?
You did. Did you also hear what Dax said?
No.
So at the end of the promo, Dax says that he's going to be bringing a surprise.
Okay. I guess I heard that, but it just kind of flew over my head. I didn't catch it. What do you think he's talking about?
Jeff, they're going to be in Calgary.
Oh, shit.
It's
Let's
FTR.
go. We're going to see Bret Hart for the first time with FTR in AEW.
Probably. I mean, I have theories, and I think that when I realized that the next week is the Calgary show, which huge week in Calgary on Saturday night, by the way. They're doing the 2-hour Collision and then a Battle of the Belts live.
I got FTR and Bret Hart right here. They've been together for a while right there. I want to hear the FT Hart chants. FT Hart, FT Hart.
Yeah. So I'm expecting to see Bret Hart. Ed says, "LOL." No.
No. All right. Next up, we had a very pleasant surprise for me. Scorpio Sky back in action in AEW. Finally, we've been seeing him in some of the promo packages for Collision, and we finally got Scorpio Sky versus Action Andretti. And I'm liking that Scorpio Sky just has his own music. He's not that, whatever he was character with Ethan Page. So I'm digging it right now. And this was a great match. A long time since we've seen him in the ring. He looked great. Action Andretti looked great. I thought this was a great, showing for him after being gone for so long.
Real quick. So yeah, adding coach. Yes, I do. I had heard that Brett was on a Legends deal with them. I don't know how long that deal had lasted though. But I just thought that was a very weird line from Dax. And I mean, I'm open to speculation as to what else you would think it could be. So in Calgary, just saying, throwing that out there. But I thought the Scorpio Sky Action Andretti match, it was fine. It was cool. I didn't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's how I felt as well. Scorpio Sky, after a decent back and forth between the two guys, they're both doing the really nice I don't want to say it, but flippy shit. You know, it was nice. Scorpio hits that TKO for the 1-2-3, and I wrote down here, "Welcome back, man." You know, I love me some Scorpio Sky. So
I mean, I'm kind of curious to see if Scorpio Sky is gonna stick this time around. I mean, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked in the past, and then he was hurt, and then he was gone forever, and
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping it can work out, but it's kind of like, well, we'll have to see how it
So
goes.
for me, I thought Scorpio Sky was doing fine, especially when he won the TNT Championship. But the moment that they turned that belt yellow and purple like the Lakers, they lost everyone that wasn't a Lakers fan, in my opinion. I was like, man, that belt is ugly as shit. And, you know, I don't know. I think something right there killed it.
I don't think that was what it was. I mean, yes, it was an ugly belt, but the thing is, at the time, every champion was designing the color for
They
the
were.
belt.
You're right. You're right.
So I don't think that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think anyone really cared about the color of the strap. I think it was more so
They
the
they
booking
actually
of the
sold that
title.
belt. So,
I mean, yeah, they did.
yep. All right, but decent showing there. Good job, Scorpio. Welcome back. That's what I wrote down there. But next up, it was time for the main event: Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. 18 years later, CM Punk had never defeated Samoa Joe in their history. And when when the bell rang, man, we had 19 minutes and possible overtime. I was absolutely overjoyed that they were giving this a lot of time to breathe. And dude, for the Owen Hart Cup semifinal to go to the finals against Ricky Starks, this was an awesome, awesome match here, dude. I loved this from beginning to end. I didn't even look away during the picture in pictures. You know, normally I go to the kitchen or something in picture in pictures. I watched it all the way through.
Not wearing a hat. What's up? What's up, Ty?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, my
last
hat.
couple episodes, no hat, man.
It's because I keep forgetting them upstairs. You know,
Ah.
and it's just like the show ends, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go get ready for the pod, and it's like it's either take the 2 minutes to go upstairs and get a hat or grab water. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
grab water every time.
I keep a stack of them here, you know, like just in case it's the game room pod. I got the Gengar one chilling right here. Or you know, Luffy the straw hat. I can throw that down.
Ty, we're gonna be back on Monday. I'll for the game room. I'll definitely be having. I'll wear a hat on Monday. I promise.
Sunglasses were here at the beginning of the pod, Mike.
Hmm.
Yeah, the sunglasses are always around. But this match, man, absolutely massive CM Punk chants in this arena. And I have to tell you, I was present live in Toronto and in Hamilton. They absolutely hated CM Punk in Toronto and Hamilton. Anybody that tried to start a CM Punk chant got booed out of the building, me included with my "I came here for CM Punk" sign. They loved CM Punk tonight. He got massive, massive CM Punk chants. Like, I was very surprised. I thought all of Canada hated him.
I wasn't surprised. I knew that eventually we were going to get in front of a smart crowd of wrestling fans, real wrestling fans who understand greatness and can appreciate greatness. So I'm not surprised at.
Yeah. And thank you, TJ. I love to have you guys here. Love to always have everybody in chat here. You know, this match was great. I love when Samoa Joe does his walkaway spot. You know, Punk did his climb into the top ropes, did his jumping splash, but nobody was home. Samoa Joe had already walked away from it. Love that spot. Punk does hit a massive elbow drop off the top rope to only pick up 2.999. He calls for the GTS, but Samoa Joe he knows how to get out of the GTS. It was obvious the whole night. Anytime CM Punk tried to pick him up on his shoulders, he knew to get out of there. You know, the first time he falls out of it and falls directly into a crossface. The way that Joe countered that GTS into the crossface looked absolutely fucking beautiful. I loved it. Joe hits a massive power slam, only gets a 2 count. Punk blocks the muscle buster from the top rope. That was another one. You know, Punk was blocking every attempt at the muscle buster. So I really liked how both guys like had each other's finisher basically scouted. They knew each other's finishers like the back of their hands. You know what I mean? So they start countering each other, finisher after finisher, but Punk gets a roll up, and for the first time in 20 something years, Punk, with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, gets the roll up win. The 1, 2, 3. CM Punk wins. Uh, what'd you think of the finish here? I thought this was actually the perfect finish, considering he's never beat him before. They showed the story in the match of they both know each other's finish. They countered after counter after counter. And how does the, smaller guy always win? With a roll up, man. It's a perfect wrestling finish here.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect spot for the finish to go that way. I mean, obviously, look, like the roll up, people make fun of the roll up, for even you do, for being really easy, and yes, I agree. It's not a finish that I want to see happen super often. But it is nice to, like, it just makes sense for the storyline. Punk is the
Yeah.
smaller of the two. These guys have history, decades long history, where they know how to counter all of each other's moves. So it makes sense in a storyline wise that you need to just, sometimes you just gotta like kind of roll into a pin and get the pin. Um I think that I think also, based off the post match, it could set up for another match down the line, which would be really cool.
Yeah, and I want to address in chat with Ed says, so Ed, I actually do agree with you here. Uh, but what they've already done with Punk with the red bag, where we're being insinuated that it's the championship he never lost. We're kind of in a position where Punk can't lose, which is why I also agree with you that he shouldn't have been in the tournament, but he is. So, I'm torn, but I still I like the finish here, but I agree with you if we're going to go down that line of thinking. You know what I mean? Yeah, he just said it. He can't lose because of that promo. All of that causes causes a little bit of a, but I'm okay with it at this point. I'm okay with it, is where we'll say.
I'm okay with CM Punk winning every single match he wrestles in for the next.
Yeah. Well, Samoa Joe does look a little bit upset, but he offers the Ring of Honor, Code of Honor, what it looked like, to CM Punk. CM Punk accepts it, shakes his hand, but Samoa Joe pulls him into the rear naked choke and locks in what he used to call the coquina clutch. Basically chokes out Punk, and FTR and Ricky Starks come out for the save here. And that's how we go off the air. What'd you think of the finish here with Samoa Joe basically choking him out, screaming at him, "I've always been better than you. I've always been better than you."
I mean, my initial thought is it sets up for a grudge match down the line.
Yeah.
And I get Ed's point, and I don't disagree with Ed's point that it would be better to have CM Punk lose here. But I at the same time, I think it's also okay for, again, it's why they do the roll up here, because it's not a super definitive win. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like it's not a Joe was beat win. And that's why I think the roll up is the best way to end this match. That's what I think. I think that we're gonna be going down to another match, probably maybe even something with a little bit of no disqualification.
I was gonna
For
say
Punk.
Iron Man of some sort or something like that.
I don't know if
where
I'd do an Iron Man, but definitely maybe like a street fight, or
yeah.
falls count anywhere would be cool. Just something where you can let Punk and Joe just go do their thing.
Yeah, maybe a
Um,
last man standing type thing where it's not just a roll up pin, can't win it.
yeah. I don't know.
But so Ed, what I would say here is I think we're in the position of we have to let's let it play out. It's kind of funny to say that here, but we would have to decide, what do you think would be better? Punk having this championship in the red bag and he can't lose here. So if that turns out to be a very good storyline down the line, then we can look back at this and being like, all right, that's cool. But if it doesn't, then we can look back at this and being like, okay, they should have not done the whole red bag thing and Joe should have won here. And then we could have had Punk versus Joe for a meaningful match. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, we just got to look down the line for what's going on with this red bag. If that doesn't turn out good, then we look back at this like, okay, you know?
No, I mean, I think look, and again, we don't know if Bret Hart's deal, we don't know when it goes up, when it expires,
That
when
would be
it's like whatever. But I could definitely see a moment where in Calgary, Bret Hart hands CM Punk the trophy.
That would be insane.
That could be the play. And again, I understand that. Sorry, coach. Ricky's not winning. He's not. He's just not. Um, but I can understand like
Yeah,
that there's this
coach.
deal with Bret, and maybe Bret can't show up, and that's probably maybe still it's a lock. I don't know. But if it's not, you have a lot of opportunities next week for Bret Hart to come out in Calgary and number one, come out with FTR, and number two, hand CM Punk the trophy. CM Punk and Bret Hart have, I'm pretty sure they both have said that each other is the greatest of all time, by the way.
Okay.
I know CM Punk has said Bret Hart is. And I think when
Yeah.
Bret was asked, he said something about CM Punk. I'm gonna look it up.
Wow. That'd be a great
I want to make sure. Don't quote me on that second part. I know
Nah,
CM Punk has said Bret Hart is the best wrestler of all.
yeah, that'd be amazing. But I thought this was an absolutely fan-frickin-tastic episode of Collision. Like we said at the beginning, it just something about the way it comes off the screen, just everything about it, the presentation, everything about Collision just makes it, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure you said the same thing. This is the best wrestling show on television. Any company, any show, for 2 hours, this is the best wrestling you can watch on television, and you get everything here. You got story, you got promos, you got freaking awesome matches. It was just, you got everything you would want in a 2-hour wrestling show here tonight.
All right, so here's something Bret Hart said back in, what's this said?
That's what I was thinking, coach. That would be the only way you get what you want, where Joe like meaningfully costs Punk the match. That way, the red bag thing doesn't get scarred, because it was obvious that Punk shouldn't have lost, something like that. But
So Bret, back in April, or maybe it was late March, but like early April, Bret did an interview with the TWC show. He called CM Punk one of his favorite wrestlers ever. He says, Punk is one of my favorite wrestlers, his favorite workers in the business ever. I might give him my jersey today if I see him. I guess he was going to see him that day, but he's always been one of my favorites. If it's fun for me to even imagine facing him. Even if we didn't do the match, I wish the two of us could just sit down and plan the match and then animate it or something.
wow,
So yeah, Bret has spoke very highly of.
that's actually pretty awesome, man. I got a funny tweet that I just found here of somebody in the audience. We had a special guest in the audience at Collision here tonight. The Shockmaster was present. There's a dude in an absolute perfection Shockmaster cosplay here. Absolutely love it.
I'd like to take a few seconds to remind Coach. I don't want Coach to get upset, but it's okay if Ricky loses next.
It is okay. He's going to have an amazing showing with Punk. Punk's going to make him look good. And, I'm not so positive Punk is actually winning that match. You know what I mean? He really likes Ricky Starks. We'll see.
Yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, and again, I'm not guaranteeing a Punk win, but again, we could argue because of that week 1 promo, Punk's probably not going to take a pin anytime soon. But it's okay. Look, at the end of the day, Ricky has had an awesome job, done an awesome job, and been spotlighted and featured since the beginning of Collision, teaming with Punk and FTR in the tournament, winning matches in the tournament, making it to the finals to face CM Punk. Like, that's a huge deal, and it's really awesome. It's not.
Oh
okay
man, let me check. I got to show you this picture here. Actually, CM Punk's gear tonight was a mirror image of Bret Hart's gear at SummerSlam versus Austin. Where's my button?
No, I agree with that, Ed. I don't think I need to see Ricky Starks turn heel. And Coach, it's okay to fanboy. I get it. It's all right. I'm a little caught up myself on Phil Brooks, so I get it. It's all right.
Yeah. All right, love it. I just love how a lot of AEW wrestlers give throwbacks to the old days of, you know, some of their favorites with their gear. Yeah, I really enjoy that, you know. You don't get that very often in
You know,
the other side.
another thing that I just want to point out that I think is really cool about AEW, and it's just a great job to the roster that they build and stuff like that, is it's great that there's so many instances when, as fans, we could both sit here, like Coach could sit here and be like fanboying over Ricky, right? And I could sit here and fanboy over CM Punk, and in like the meantime, like someone else was probably fanboying over Samoa Joe, and like I just think that, you know, the alternative, the other place, it's kind of like you either root for guy A or guy B, and like no one else really matters. Whereas like in AEW, it's like, oh, okay, who's your favorite? You could ask AEW fans who's your favorite on the roster, and you'll get like 20 different answers. And I
Dude,
think that that's really cool.
the fact that I was present for that bump that Sting took, and then all these dweebs on Twitter are like, "Oh, Sting shouldn't be doing this. This is dangerous." I'm just like, man, I'm like, you guys are so lame, dude. I'm like, I was there for it. That shit was awesome. After the match, he was on the mic loving it, thanking Tony for letting him doing it. Like, you know,
I would say to those people who are talking about Sting taking bumps, taking dives, and all that stuff, this is for you, Ed. I would say that those people are in bad faith. You know, I think that they're bad faith. Uh, you know, just bad faith complaints. It's not
yeah,
good. It's like, oh,
I
Sting is
agree.
not safe, and then you watch Ricochet and Logan Paul, you know, in their spot or whatever it is, and you
Oh,
know,
I finally watched that. That's insane. They almost killed each other. That was wild. All right, well, that does it for our Collision review for tonight. Fantastic freaking episode of Collision. Absolutely love it. What do we got announced for Dynamite? What do they have going for us on Wednesday night here?
go ahead and pull this up. I just opened an app on my phone that I've never opened before. What is the app?
Nice. You
Game
like that,
Launcher?
Eddie Kingston, coach? I got a few more on here. I added a couple of them. There's Eddie. We've always had Punk up there, you know. What's the
All
new
right.
one
Well,
here?
so firstly, like I said earlier in the show, next Saturday, 3 hours of AEW television. We have Collision running at its usual time slot of 8 to 10, with Battle of the Belts 7 from 10 to 11. During that Battle of the Belts, it was announced not Christian Cage. Luchasaurus is defending Christian Cage's TNT Championship against Shawn Spears. Set up for Dynamite this week, we have Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia for the Blind Eliminator Tag Tournament. MJF and Adam Cole will be taking on Brian Cage and Big Bill, although MJF is apparently very sick and will not be there. Ruby Soho is facing Sky Blue in the Owen semifinal. Swerve Strickland will be taking on the debuting Nick Wayne. Commander will be taking on Chris Jericho. 2 weeks from Wednesday, on July 19th, it will be Blood and Guts, the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. Friday on Rampage, Athena versus Willow Nightingale, Owen semifinal. And then the finals will be taking place next week on Collision. So Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, that winner versus Athena, Willow Nightingale. Next week on Collision, 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW World Tag Team Championship in Calgary. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. The finals for the Owen, CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so the Battle of the Belts. What do we have announced so far that was specifically on that show?
So that's just Shawn Spears and Luchasaurus.
So that's all we got so far. Because I really want to see a title change on Battle of the Belts, and I believe that's going to be live this time, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be live. It's gonna be following. The last few have been live,
Yes, yes.
but yes, it will be live.
Okay, so do you think we're going to see a title change by any chance? I mean, obviously, we don't know the other couple matches. There's usually 3. Do you think we see anything that could possibly be a title change, though?
I mean, maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Coog, I had a Cerro Miedo one, but for some reason it kept freezing on me. I'll have to see if they fixed it. It's been live the last 3 of them? Maybe, okay, maybe. They were putting it on after Rampage, and Rampage wasn't usually live.
No, but those weeks they did a live Rampage.
Oh, you're right, okay. All right, is there anything you wanted to go over here tonight? Like maybe Dynamite being the #1 show on cable television on Wednesday night?
I mean, yeah, it was. So, great for them.
That's nice.
Once again for Ed, these bad faith actors who are like acting like the ratings are so terrible. Like, if you sit here and you're gonna judge these Collision ratings, like, not in a vacuum, you're an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, but as we've discussed, as everyone's discussed, as people in the Discord have said, people in the chat, people on Twitter, people in general, like, there's a lot of things going on Saturday nights. Not just television, but people go and do things on Saturday nights. People have lives on Saturday nights. People watch UFC. Professional sports are usually pretty big on Saturday nights. Like, there's so many things going on Saturday nights.
And say, wait, he's about to fact check me here. He's like, wait, #1 what?
No, Ed, it was the #1 show. Tony Khan,
#1 show on cable, 8:55. They actually had a very good showing on Wednesday. It was pretty nice, actually.
Yeah. But no, there's a lot going on, and coaches said it too. Like, when college football starts, absolutely Collision's gonna take a hit. Like,
yeah,
there's no way it doesn't.
No.
But that's
tonight was actually a UFC event, Coach, so I don't know if tonight's going to have better numbers, but it's possible.
No, weren't you just talking about how ratings aren't a good gauge of a show anymore a week ago? What? I'm confused.
Maybe?
Did I say that? Who said that?
I mean, like, we were probably mentioning it. I don't know.
I don't remember the context in which that was said.
We were probably saying how, like, the ratings only show you the Nielsen ratings, I guess, is what everybody gets for the ratings. And it doesn't include all the streaming apps that everybody uses nowadays, or as far as I know, it doesn't. And I don't think they use the DVR numbers and everything as well.
Yeah, sorry, Ed.
I didn't say Dynamite #1 forever. I was just saying, hey, we're back at the #1 show of television on cable, man.
I mean, look, I think that, like, ratings are kind of a weird thing, and Ed's gonna laugh. I feel like Ed's gonna laugh at this, but, like, ratings are kind of a weird thing where, like, when they're up,
show buzz announced, shouldn't have.
When they're up, it is something to celebrate. When they're down, like, it is something to take note of, but you got to look at it in a vacuum. Like, Collision should never. Well, I mean, I don't want to say should never. It would be nice if they do, but I would always expect Dynamite to have more viewers than Collision because of the situation of those two shows. Collision doing, like, let's say 500. Let's say Collision does 500,000. If the network's happy with it, like, that's what the network wants. The network wants a chunk of the TV viewers on Saturdays. They know that there's a lot of competition going on, so they're not going to expect the 900,000 range that Dynamite usually does. So, I don't know. I think, in general, across the fan base, the royal...
I've been of the opinion over the last few years that the ratings are skewed in certain areas. Like, when I see the ratings for, like, Raw, sometimes I'm just like, there's just no way. I'm like, everyone I know that watches wrestling, like, personally, has completely stopped watching that. And they try to ask me what's going on. And I'm like, man, I barely keep up with that side. And, I don't know. I feel like sometimes the ratings are just not accurate. You know what I mean? On both sides, they're, like, all around.
I mean, look, the ratings are what they are. And I mean, like, again, I don't want to say they don't matter, because I do think that they matter. Like, if Dynamite does a super good number or a super bad number, it matters. But I think what I'm trying to say is that, like, you should not look at, like, a Collision rating and compare it to a Dynamite rating. I don't think that's a fair thing to do. If Collision kind of, like, let's say, a couple weeks pass and Collision kind of averages in, like, the 500 range, like, if the network's happy with it, like, that's that's what they're trying to do when it comes to viewership. I mean, obviously there's other
Yeah.
arms of the business, which is like selling merch, selling pay-per-views, selling tickets, and like all those things are obviously important avenues of revenue. But if the network looks at 500,000 on a Saturday night and they're like, that's great, that's what we need.
Yeah. And people like to talk about the ratings in Discord, so I feel like I had a little bit of an obligation to talk about it, so it is what it is. I just, I like to celebrate when we get a little bit of a win. But
Look,
I do see what you're saying, Ed. I get you.
I am always down to beat up on the Sandal merch. Like, I am. But I don't think there's a problem with Jeff celebrating Dynamite being number 1 on cable. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta be fair. Like, I will dunk on the flip-flop guy 7 days out of the week, twice on Sundays. But, no, it's fine. It's okay.
I appreciate it. All right. Well, again, I appreciate the hell out of everybody in chat that sticks with us here every night. Really enjoy having you guys here for all the discussion. Love it. Ed, Coach, we got Michael here. I love all you guys. The Coog. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us, and everybody else that's here as well. I see a lot more viewers than guys in chat, so thank you guys for being with us as well. Rome, you want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
All right. Well, this has been episode 156. Purple Missiles Lurking.
Purple,
Happy
thank you.
belated birthday, Purple, by the way.
100% agree with that, Ed. 100%.
And also, everyone, real quick, in about 29 minutes, I would like for everyone to wish a very happy 80th birthday to one Jeffrey Vegas. The man turns 80 years old in about 28 minutes here on the East Coast. Currently 11:32. Happy birthday, Jeff. Happy early birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yep. But regardless, this has been episode 156 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you liked this video, thank you for hanging out, number one. Hit the like button, subscribe on your way out if you haven't, so that way you can keep in the know and keep watching our content. Make sure you join our Discord. You can follow us in our social medias down below. I'm on Threads now, just in case the Bird app dies. So, like, follow me on Twitter. You can also look me up on Threads, same username. It's down below, so you can follow me there if you want. I'm not doing anything there yet, but you never know. Train of thought's been derailed. Oh no. Like, subscribe, follow. We're going to be back on Monday with the Game Room podcast. We talk about wrestling as well. The AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday. Next week, super big show, 3 hours on Saturday night. So that's going to be really fun. I think that's all I got. Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that 3-hour Saturday show sometime throughout the week. But until then, we will see you guys on Monday if you're going to join us for the Game Room. But if not, we will see you on Wednesday for the Dynamite review. But until then, top guys out.